Let's just dive right in. Picture this. You're walking into your local supermarket. You grab a cart, you stroll down the aisles, and bam, you are immediately greeted by hundreds of brands and literally thousands of different products. Everywhere you look, right? Different logos, wildly different packaging, totally unique ads, all fighting for your attention. As a consumer, it feels like you've got absolutely unlimited choices, like it's this vibrant, diverse marketplace. Well, today we're going to put on our investigator hats and pull back the curtain on this everyday experience. Because as you're about to see, things are definitely not what they seem.
Which brings us to the central mystery of this explainer. Who actually owns these brands? What if I told you that a ton of the products sitting side by side on your pantry shelves, products that look entirely different and seem to be fierce competitors, are secretly owned by just a handful of giant corporations? Seriously, it's a fascinating, kind of mind-blowing system operating right in plain sight.
Just think about some familiar, everyday brands for a second. Coca-Cola, Dove soap, Oreo cookies, Gillette razors, Head & Shoulders, Lipton tea, Pampers, maybe even a pint of Ben & Jerry's. At first glance, these are completely unrelated household staples, right? You might easily toss 3 or 4 of these into your cart on a single grocery run. The products look totally different, they serve completely different purposes, but the real question we need to ask is, where does your money actually end up when you scan these items at the register? What we're really talking about here is the illusion of choice. Every single year, we consumers spend trillions of dollars globally on food, drinks, cosmetics, household items, the whole shebang. And most of us believe we're choosing between dozens, if not hundreds, of independent, competing companies. We think we're voting with our wallets. But behind the scenes, you are unknowingly handing your hard-earned cash over to a surprisingly small, highly concentrated group of corporate giants. Now, what's truly fascinating is exactly how these corporations pull off this illusion. Instead of creating just one giant monolithic brand for everyone, they create multiple different faces for different types of customers. So on one hand, they manufacture premium luxury brands, marketing them with sleek designs and sky-high price tags. On the other hand, they pump out budget and family brands that focus on value and approachability. It's honestly a brilliant strategy. You might think you're upgrading by choosing the premium option or being savvy and saving money by grabbing the budget one. But a lot of the time, it's just different faces, same exact owner. All right, it's time to unmask the true corporate puppet masters pulling the strings behind the scenes. Meet the giants. We're talking about massive conglomerates. Procter & Gamble, Unilever, Nestle, PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, Johnson & Johnson, Mars. These guys are the apex predators of the supermarket ecosystem. They sit at the very top of a vast, invisible pyramid, quietly collecting the revenue from all those seemingly independent brands below them. And to really grasp the sheer scale of this system, we got to talk numbers. Billions, with a B. These parent companies generate billions of dollars in revenue every single year. They are literally some of the wealthiest, most powerful entities on the planet. And you know what? Their financial lifeblood is pumped directly from the shopping carts of everyday folks who have absolutely no clue how centralized the whole system actually is. Let's use Procter & Gamble as a case study to prove just how deep this rabbit hole goes, even if you purposefully tried to avoid them. Actually, scratch that. Even if you've never consciously bought a single product with the P&G logo stamped on the front, chances are you're still buying from them. Pampers, Gillette, Head & Shoulders, Oral-B, Tide, Pantene. I mean, if you wash your hair, brush your teeth, or do laundry, Procter & Gamble's hidden reach has almost certainly made its way into your home. And this pattern of hidden ownership builds even further with another absolute giant, Unilever. Their reach is massive, extending across completely unrelated aisles of the grocery store. Look, on one hand, they totally dominate personal care with brands like Dove soap and Axe body spray. But then, on the exact opposite side of the store, they control the dessert freezers with Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Completely different products, targeting completely different audiences, but incredibly, they share the exact same corporate parent. Okay, so to really get how this works, we need a quick definition. What we're looking at here is a system built entirely on subsidiaries. Simply put, a subsidiary is just a distinct brand or a smaller company that's actually owned and controlled by a massive global corporate parent. These giant corporations, they don't just run one mega factory. Nope, they operate hundreds of these subsidiaries spread all across the globe, functioning just like an intricate, invisible spider web of business operations. So here is the absolute crucial takeaway. The real power isn't just in owning these products. The network is the real power. True corporate dominance lies in maintaining a hidden web of continuous acquisitions.
It's all about slowly, systematically weaving together different industries and market sectors until the parent company has a foundational pillar in literally every aspect of our consumer lives.
And the crazy part? They keep you, the consumer, completely in the dark through what we'll call the illusion of continuity. See, when a giant corporation buys out a smaller, beloved brand, you rarely even notice. Why? Because the original branding remains absolutely identical. The logo stays, the packaging stays, the advertising stays exactly the same. The only thing that silently changes is the bank account where the profits are deposited. Now, this brings up a really fascinating investigative question. Why would they even do this? Think about it. Why would a giant corporation want to own multiple brands that seem to fight against each other on the exact same store shelf? Why in the world would you want to compete with yourself? Well, the answer lies in a brilliant, if maybe slightly sinister tactic, the risk mitigation strategy. It basically ensures the corporate house always wins. Let's walk through it. Step 1. Let's say product A completely fails to catch on, or consumer trends just shift away from it. Step 2. Luckily for them, the parent company also owns product B, which happens to succeed and capture that exact new trend. Step 3, the parent corporation profits either way. By owning the whole spectrum, they are totally protected from the changing tastes of the market. It's foolproof. What this creates is a state of false competition right there on the store shelves. Imagine a customer standing in the aisle, carefully comparing competing product A with competing product B. They're reading the labels, maybe checking the price per ounce, agonizing over the decision, and finally making a choice. But that choice, it's a total mirage. Because regardless of which item goes into the basket, that money is unknowingly being sent to the exact same place. The corporation wins the battle before you even take your wallet out. To maintain this kind of iron grip, these giants are constantly on the hunt. They engage in massive, billion-dollar acquisitions. They aggressively scour the market for the next big, successful startup, the next trendy health food or the hottest innovative skincare line. And their ultimate goal? To buy it up fast, way before their other giant competitors can get their hands on it. You can clearly see this play out in the life cycle of a typical brand nowadays. Day 1, it starts as a passionate small business, maybe built in a garage, claiming they're going to disrupt the industry. Fast forward to year 5, it becomes highly successful and boom, it's abruptly acquired by a giant corporation for a massive payout. By year 10, it is fully integrated, becoming just another piece on a multinational empire's chessboard. What starts out as a cool indie alternative almost inevitably gets swallowed up by the very system it originally tried to stand apart from. After decades and decades of these continuous acquisitions, a handful of companies have completely transformed into global powerhouses. And the scale of it is almost terrifying. They are literally everywhere on Earth. Their invisible presence stretches into nearly every single supermarket, every local pharmacy, and every corner convenience store globally. It's an inescapable net of corporate influence. Which brings us right back to the ultimate scope of this hidden empire: trillions. We are talking about trillions of dollars of consumer money endlessly flowing upwards into this highly concentrated, incredibly exclusive system. It is a beautifully, meticulously designed machine that funnels the wealth of the many right into the hands of the very, very few, all while smiling at you from a brightly colored package. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a paradigm-shifting question to chew on. If the choices we make are being carefully curated by just a handful of giants, and if the competition between our favorite brands isn't actually real, well, who really holds the power in our economy? Keep that in the back of your mind the next time you walk down the grocery aisle and reach for your favorite brand, because you might just be feeding the empire.